Is there?
Here, her.
Either.
I'm Tony. I'm with him.
This while I can turn them up. Hate to ask her, staying out of trouble.
Well,
Sorry.
just on the edge.
Hi, Sheriff, can you hear us?
Yes.
Oh. I don't know why it's putting that Starry Night background behind all of this, but whatever.
I like it.
Kind of pretty.
We're fancy today. Sharon is joining us obviously via Zoom. She's sicky poo, and I think we're all ever so grateful that she decided not to share her germs with us. Let's get this party started. All right.
Oh, yeah, more signatures.
Meeting is now called to order. The May meeting of the Board of Directors of the Crook County Cemetery District is now started. Directors Bedortha and Hermrich are here, so we have quorum. And Steve Shropshire is joining us online, as is Sharon Moore. Craig? All right. First item of business would be to approve the minutes, but I walked off without them again because I was on the phone. So we'll skip that till next month. And we can go ahead and move on to Shara's report and approval of the bills, which shouldn't take very long since we have budget later.
Yeah, sure.
Take her away, Shara.
Okay. Everything looked good and in order. As far as the comparative profit and loss comparative to April of last year, looks like there was some operating income, like that made a huge difference in income from last year. I saw there was a big deposit that came in May, so I think it was just a timing issue. Everything else has come in. I think as far as the budget goes, we'll get to that, but everything looks pretty good on my end.
Awesome. No surprises this month.
No surprises.
Awesome. Okay. I then make a motion to approve the bills.
I will second the motion.
All those in favor?
Hermrich, aye.
Bedortha,
Would I? Motion passes. Yay. Okay, and we will now turn it over to Mr. Craig for our operations report.
I didn't have it memorized, so.
It's okay.
The copy. Since the last board meeting on the 21st of April, we've done 6 burials, three fulls, 3 ashes, all at Juniper Haven. Not a whole lot has changed except irrigation, it's still a work in progress and trying to get all the lines corrected, all the breaks fixes. Really close on it. But in the meantime, the weather's helped with some rain, so and browns look really good, at least at Juniper Haven. Tomorrow we're going out to Paulina to mow and fire up the water out there, and then followed by Powell Butte on Wednesday. So we've just been mowing a lot lately. No changes on our trees. No changes on the equipment or the monthly improvements that I had reported on the last couple months. So really no changes except just been fixing a lot of irrigation.
When I was out there, he was fixing a water pipe.
Did we get the mower back?
Yes.
Yay!
Yeah.
And it works?
Yeah.
Okay. Fun to check. And then were you able to get those cars and stuff moved out?
Yeah, I have one that's sitting there,
Okay.
but my son's coming this weekend
Okay, just wanted to check.
Get it?
All right, let me bring up our other agenda here. Sorry, guys. Straight. Wrong one. Sorry. I am so unprepared today. Okay. That. Over to there. Okay. That. So, okay. Basically, that's all for the basic stuff. Old business, we have obviously the, websites up and running. I fixed the bug from last month. For some reason, it does this weird autofill. So if you try to schedule 2 meetings on one day, it just goes, oh, you mean this one? As a convenience sake, this month I scheduled the links separately, separated by days. So I think that kind of short-circuited that bug, with their software. I've got, Gary and Susan, you guys are both receiving your district emails now. We're all good with that?
I've only gotten the one that was the test. No one else has emailed me.
Okay,
So hopefully I'm not missing any. I hope.
okay. Yeah, I haven't really gotten anything either. So there was that. So we're good. We have a YouTube account and our meetings are now going up on YouTube, so I can share the links to that on the website and we can track.
They're tied to the website.
Yeah.
Good.
If they want to watch the video, it actually has like the little, player on the website. So they just have to go click. But we have to do it through YouTube. We've also gotten some external people finding us on YouTube as well. Been watching that. That's been really good. Next thing I have on our agenda is bylaws discussion. I emailed you guys documents from Steve, so I'm gonna turn it over to Mr. Steve and let him lead this part of the meeting.
Thanks, Jamie. Okay, so we've had this on the agenda for quite a while now. I think the original discussion was really around what would be the ideal mechanism to make sure that your board has consistency and continuity in terms of procedures and also really kind of serve as a training tool as well, where you could hand somebody a document and they would be able to read through it and understand the legalities associated with board service on this board and things like that. I've shown you a couple of draft bylaws from other entities. What I've brought forward this month after thinking about this a little more is a policy manual that one of our clients has asked us to put together for them. And there's a lot of sections in the document that I gave to Jamie that don't obviously apply to a cemetery district, but it's a modular approach where each sort of topic has its own individual policy, which what we've seen is that makes it very easy to amend those on a module by module basis if you have something that you want to change. By contrast, if you've got bylaws, you've got to go in and amend the entirety of the bylaws, and you either end up with the original document and lots of amendments over time, or you have to amend and restate the entire thing each time you do it. So if you're still interested in this type of a document being created, my suggestion is we use the Tillamook County Transportation District template of policy modules, and we pick the ones that are most appropriate to what your desires are in terms of what you'd like to have in writing, and we can create that.
Comments?
I'm fine with that. At least we can move forward. So you want us to read through the documents again that we have and highlight the things we want to see in it?
Yeah, that would be most useful to me is if you can just give me feedback on, policies 10, 11, 15, and 20 or look like they would be very good for us. We'd like to see those incorporated. That's the gist.
Which ones were they?
10, 11, 15, and 20.
No, I just made that up.
Oh,
Yeah, just
okay.
go through, give me,
I
my
I
point
thought
is, give
maybe
me,
so.
yeah, no.
Well,
Give
now,
me
and
by
I wrote
number,
that down. Okay.
just if you see policies that you think are appropriate to your entity, just give me the numbers for those and I
No,
can
you're
translate.
very happy we took that seriously. I can see a big smile on your face.
Well, that way he knows we're serious. Okay, yeah, we can do that. And when do you need them by?
Ideally, within a week or so, that'll give me time to get it ready for your next meeting.
Okay.
But if you need a little more time, this is not a high priority item, obviously. So, get them to me when you guys have a chance to look them over, and I will do my best to get it incorporated and ready for a draft at your next meeting.
Okay. All right. Moving on, next item on the agenda is the office manager's position. I know we keep talking about it, but I think now is time to pull the trigger. Basically my idea is to have someone who is chained to the office. They can take over all the office stuff so that Craig can focus on administration and the other things that he needs to do. There will also be, as we'll learn here shortly, a presentation from these two gentlemen, something else that they can help us with. And I was thinking we could post an ad with SDAO, possibly the employment office, looking for someone who is higher end office manager, etc. I think, Cheryl, did you happen to look up what we were paying? Was it Bob that was doing the office stuff last year?
As it
Yes,
is.
yeah, his was, sorry, I have it ready in front of me.
You had it right here. Okay. Saw it this morning.
That was 45,100.
Would that be an acceptable salary for you guys? I was thinking making this person full-time, obviously, so that there's always someone sitting there at the office, no matter where the guys are.
So here on your form, the detailed requirements you had here on part-time, line 4, you had proposed by budget officer, you had that 12,000. What was that about, Shara?
That is for Dave, one of the employees. He can only work a set amount of time and pay, and that is a line item for him.
Oh, okay, so that wasn't pertaining to this position.
No.
Oh, okay, alrighty. I was confused on that when I saw that. I thought that might be, okay.
Oh,
perfect.
sure.
Okay, no, that's okay. I just, okay.
And we're budgeted for another person, correct?
We,
That'd be-
So on the first employee under manager, that would be, in theory, I believe where Frank is right now. I don't know that he's gone full time, but that is for that position.
So, okay, I see. So on line 3, customer, whatever you want to call it, whatever, 2, so that is budgeted in there. Alrighty.
okay.
So Craig, what are your thoughts? You're the district manager. Have you, they'll be working for Craig, is that correct?
Yeah, I think,
I mean, I've given a little bit of thought on, I don't know about the manager, like, title.
well, I mean,
But I mean, like, but in
Office
turn,
employee.
yeah, like, and I mean, I get having somebody sit there the whole time, but I don't know. It just seems like I mean, I try not to sit there, so
Right.
that's just me, and it just seems like it's gonna be,
well, they're
in the
gonna have,
beginning, it's gonna be a lot, it could be a lot of work setting up, but once it gets established, it's tough to say. I mean, I mean, there's days where there's lots of days that are dead. I mean, not one phone call, and then there's days that you get 20 phone calls or so.
But is there a lot to catch up on in filing?
Oh, yeah,
And
I mean,
things like
there's
that.
a bit to, yeah,
So-
definitely.
So there's a lot of catch up that needs to be
Yeah.
done. And it also would take a little bit off of your back that I know
Oh, yeah.
that this is my impression of you, Craig. You'd rather be outside having a project than sitting at a desk writing on a piece of paper. So it seems to me it would take that part off of your plate and you would be a happier, and there's enough outside to do
Oh, yeah.
to keep you busy. So it seems like it would be a great efficiency for the
Yeah.
cemetery, in my opinion. And maybe we get to the point where everything's caught up and then we have to let that employee go. But I think for a while, we could at least give it at least a year and try.
Yeah, and I
And
was
maybe we
thinking,
reduce hours at that point.
they could help with doing the website stuff and
Take over some of the things you've been doing.
Yeah.
yes,
I just see that you would it would free you up. It would enable you to have more
Oh, yeah.
control over your grounds and
It-
things. I just see it would be very beneficial.
Yeah. It's just, I'm being pulled on, I
A
mean,
lot of different,
yeah, because
places.
I have to do the ground stuff because I can't,
you gotta be there.
I mean, I have to be there or it just doesn't.
So you're good with getting somebody
Yeah.
started in the office?
Yeah,
and
I am.
Taking over, and so you're willing to let go of some of the things you've been doing as far as the office work?
Oh, yeah, that's
Okay.
fine. I mean, I'm getting a good grasp on it now, but
Yep.
it still takes me like hours.
Yeah,
I spent a lot of time up there this weekend, so.
Okay,
yeah, and you
Getting
should
caught
have,
up.
yeah, you should be, just accept the help, and
Oh,
then
yeah.
if you get to a point where you say,
Oh, yeah, I'm not saying,
you don't need.
I'm just worried about, we still need somebody else too in the outside too. Like even if it's just temporary, like I said before, like a high school kid or something like over the summer.
and we've given you that flexibility.
So it's just, I just gotta make sure to get it in the budget the right way. So we don't go over budget on that.
I had a thought about that. What about somebody who has to have community service? Having them help out with some of this stuff.
It'd be wonderful, but it's my impression anymore in the court system, they don't let people do that anymore because that's, that is my impression anymore.
And it
Oh.
might be more sensitive, if it's a community service person, things might be a little more sensitive to,
Okay, it was just a thought
yeah.
because free labor.
No, and I agree with you, but anymore, it seems like we're evolving away from that, which is a crime. It's not a crime, I guess I shouldn't say,
They,
but it's sad because like going to county college and talking about the different programs they had, now that they've quit those,
Mhm.
the people that are involved in them said, we don't have a purpose anymore. And actually it's taken away from the people that are serving.
Yeah.
You know, it's actually has went against what they think they're trying to do, but that's an example of rights. And maybe them going the wrong way, but
So
it's nothing
Jamie,
we can solve.
would you be okay with then if we decide to hire somebody to work in the office, and you made a good point, she'll start doing the website? And would you be good if we specify that this person needs to put the meetings together, the agendas and everything? And the reason being is we're all replaceable.
Right.
And you have the knowledge now, but it would be good to have somebody at the office that's doing all these things that has that ability and gets it out.
I kind of think that the board chair should maybe still set the agenda. That should be part of their responsibility as board chair.
And do you want to send it to that person and have them put
Yes.
it out a week in advance?
And then they do all the other
I'm good with that.
stuff.
Okay,
I kind of think the first thing we need to do is come up with a job description.
I just
Yes.
did a part of it.
No, and I agree with you, and that is the normal thing, is the board chair does come up with the agenda.
Yeah.
And then the person does, but again, we need a job description, and Craig, that would be really relying on you is actually what, if you're sitting at that desk, what needs to be done, so that person has some idea that is applying.
Yeah.
What skill set they need to have,
Mhm.
you know, rather than walk in and say, oh,
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
am I doing?
And
So
Yes.
we do need a job description.
And Craig and I can sit down and work that out. And, then we can get it out there.
And
Yeah,
how do
what
you want,
programs do they need to know
and how do you want to, interview?
I think,
Craig needs to be there because that's. the first-
well, obviously Craig needs to be there.
Yeah.
I think, maybe just Craig and I do it,
Okay.
unless you guys want to be part of it in an executive session.
Nope.
Since I have more of the computer knowledge than Craig does, no offense, Craig.
None
when? Craig,
taken.
that's a good thing, I think.
Yeah,
You know,
That's my page. but-
so I can grill them on the computer skills that they would need and stuff like that.
Okay, and then Craig, you'll take care of the rest of it, so, yeah, as long as you're real clear with them.
Okay. All right, then we will set a date, Craig, to sit down and do that. Let's do quick updates on past projects. Gary, paving.
We're waiting on budget, but, I did talk to Craig a little bit. We probably need to start thinking about if we're gonna do any paving. We need to get it to the county if we're gonna do it, and I would ask the board to maybe approve project, not to exceed 25,000, so we can go with the one bid. Could we have talked to the county about piggybacking on a project they're gonna do this summer? But
Mhm.
I'm just making. the
I
idea.
like that. Like,
Okay, well,
just
you,
having that, the cloud of having the budget that's set. And we just get the most for our buck out of it this year and then maybe next year too.
okay,
So,
And Shara, do we have 25,000 in the budget that we can dedicate to that?
Yes,
Okay,
did she say yes?
yes, you did.
Oh, well, good.
yep, we do. Yep, it's on the, one of the budget, reports.
Okay.
Well, good. Can I keep asking for things? Sure.
Well, look here.
Say he can keep asking, doesn't mean the answer is gonna be yes, right, Shara?
Right.
Always ask, but the answer could be no.
When at home, I don't ever get a yes on budget items.
So see,
Oh.
he's used to no, Shara, so it won't hurt his feelings.
Okay.
Okay, well then, I guess we need a motion, that just says, let's do it, and let's get that one checked off of our plate as well.
I'll make a motion that we authorize, up to, not to exceed 25,000 for paving projects to work and have Craig work with the, county road department to see if what we can get done and how much we can get done.
I second the motion. All those in favor?
I will abstain.
Bedortha, aye.
Would I? Motion passes.
And Craig, if you want help with it, I will. If not, she's all yours.
okay.
Just let me know.
And just by way
Employee
of reminder,
handbook.
make sure that you stay underneath that cap. That way you stay within compliance for a small procurement.
Awesome.
So watch that budget carefully.
Okay. Will do. Next thing on there for past items is employee handbook. I did talk to the SDAO. They do have a template and a service that, I showed you guys last month. The template, is just generic, but they said it's current. However, to help us customize that to our needs will cost us $4,000. And somebody will have to take on the responsibility of doing most of the writing. So one of us is going to have to be bogged down with it until it's done. And he said it's a process that takes about 6 months.
Employee handbook.
Yes.
Can we let the new office person do it come to us with the finished project?
Possibly. Steve has also suggested, because his partner does employment law, that they might have something that we could tweak that would work for us as well.
Okay,
So I just need to know how you all would like to proceed with that.
I'm good with whichever way we go.
And I agree with Gary, whichever way, it could be a job for the new person, or it could be that if Steve has something, either way would be fine with
Yeah.
me.
Okay.
think
I'm still waiting for the,
I think what Pete usually does is he'll he'll take a starting document that's relatively close to what we would anticipate you need as a public entity. Provides that to staff and the board as appropriate. And then you look through it and offer any thoughts or suggestions on that document. And then we just do some light customization and off you go.
Okay. All righty. Well,
So do we need, if we were to do that, what you just said, Steve, would that require a motion then at this time? And what would be your estimated cost? You're saying 4,000 for the document, then what would be the light customization cost? What will be looking at it all in?
So that's SDAO's estimate. I think Pete has been putting together basic handbooks for around 2,500 or 3,000. I need to ask him about that, but I think because we have a pretty working quality template already in hand, we can do those fairly economically.
So you're looking at 7 all in, or?
No, so the 4,000 that Jamie quoted, that's SDAO. That's their number.
Okay,
What I'm telling you is we've got our template already in place, so it would probably be about 3,000 all in.
okay, all right. And then Shara, do we have that in somewhere that we could get that from our budget, our proposed budget? Is that in somewhere here?
Yes. Yeah, we've still kind of over projected on some operating expenses that we could put that in.
On your operating supplies?
Yes.
Okay. Well, then I would probably make a motion to go ahead and to authorize Steve's firm. I'm not sure exactly to go ahead and customize an employee handbook for Crook County Cemetery
And I'll second that.
all those in favor?
to not exceed the cost of 3,000 at this time.
Okay. All those in favor?
Will you second my amendment?
He did.
I'll second the amendment to
Thank
what you had to say.
Yeah.
Peter with the eye.
Okay, Hermrick, aye.
Would I? Motion passes. Okay, Steve, would you get in touch with Pete and have him?
Yep. And I'll let you guys know if for some reason I'm way off base on that estimate, but that'll
Okay.
be our cap for the moment.
Thank you, Steve.
Too late.
Yes, we're not giving you 3,001 penny. We want you to know that you're paying any excess.
Just like the paving job.
Yeah, hey, can I ask you a question on it real quick? So 25,000 not to exceed, what happens when you get the final price that's $25,100 because of, is there a variance? No.
Not really. I mean, the idea is if you go in eyes open and you're doing everything in your power to keep it to the small procurement level, then, in theory, you should be okay. But technically, yeah, could somebody challenge that as having not gone through the step for an informal procurement of securing 2 other bids? Yeah.
All right, good enough.
So I would just say, shoot for 24 and
That
Do your
24.99, 999.
No, thank
You
you.
tell Gary he has to collect soda cans to make up that $100. That's the way it goes, Craig, okay? I've got a bag in the garage I'll give you to go towards that.
What about it?
It's like having a check and handing them the check and this is what you get.
Yeah.
But like, as soon as it's done.
If he has to come up with another 100, he could sit on the street corner with a cup full of pencils.
Well, I'm not gonna buy one, that's for sure.
Or it'll be an IOU until the next budget.
Okay, last thing on past projects, employee uniforms. Craig, you hadn't
Yeah, we had,
got back to me on that other company. Do you just want me to go ahead and order them through who did them before? Who did the examples for us?
Craig doesn't sound too excited about this.
no, I just not excited about the employees. Oh,
Uh-oh.
that's
We don't need to hear about that.
Slide,
We're just
okay.
asking about the uniform.
yeah, just, we'll hold off on that for just a minute.
Okay,
'Cause I don't know, I don't wanna I might be losing one of them. So I don't wanna order stuff
Okay.
in a size that we might not be able to find
So-
somebody else to fill that, so.
Put it on hold. for
Yeah, just
another
put,
month.
yeah.
Okay. We can put it back burner till next week.
And it's been, I mean, we don't look like utter trash when we need to look nice.
Right.
So
Well,
far.
It's just something we had discussed and we hadn't got back around to.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
Trying to clear the past stuff out.
gotcha.
Okay, that's all we have for old business. New business, we have these two gentlemen from OM Stone to present to us a proposal. Take it away, gentlemen.
Thank you, Jamie, for letting me crash your meeting on such short notice.
It's
But
okay.
the reason why I offered to come out is OM Stone has done business with the district probably for 25 or 30 years, as well as we did business with the funeral home for a while. My name's Tony Goyburn. I've been with the company, I think I'm going into my 35th year. This is Tim Bronley. He is third generation, technically fourth, but we say third because Grandpa didn't really do too much but loan some money in the beginning. Family ownership going into really past our 75th year under the same family, same ownership. Oregon-based company. Started in a small little barn on our cemetery in Hillsboro, Oregon, and grew to the company that we are now, which we still think we're pretty small. What are we, 50 employees?
About 40 now.
About 40. And we service monuments, memorials from the Sacramento area. We do a little bit of business in the Puget Sound, but Oregon and Northern California is mostly where we service. We've also branched out into public art. Tim and I work on veterans memorials, large scale veterans memorials. We just finished the official States Vietnam Veterans Memorial on the Capitol grounds in Salem. So our motto has always been, if you can think of it in stone, we can probably make it. So and Craig knows that we've done columbariums for you guys recently, as well as we can do little tiny headstones to big giant ones. So I just appreciate you letting us come and tell our story. I've got information packets for all of you because I think I was told that some of you, this is your first endeavor into a cemetery project.
Other than buying them.
Other than buying them, and everyone at least buys one. So the numbers that I was able to get on such short notice from our order tracking and design program, Stone Spot shows me that since late 2020, you guys done about $112,000 of wholesale business with us. It's split up between final inscriptions on columbariums, adding names to existing stones when you're burying ashes on an existing grave. There's 3 columbariums in there, 2 we did recently, and then 1 for Pilot Butte, and then memorial sales. Now, Bob and I, for years, always talked about setting up a little monument display out in front of the office, and we just never did it. There was always a reason not to. But I think, just from my experience, a district the size of yours should be doing probably $40,000 to $60,000 in business if you had a display, if you had somebody in the office taking those orders, because I know that's not something you want to sit there and talk to ladies about making a headstone for their parents.
And just to comment, that's wholesale, that's your cost. So
Yeah.
if you do it 2 or 2.5 times, that's net revenue, what you should see, so.
And you could be very competitive, as you were saying. What you're hearing is the markup's probably 3.2 over at the funeral home, and you guys should be doing it probably at 2.5 markup, which is plenty to give you guys enough to pay for a person to do the monument sales, as well as putting a little extra for cemetery maintenance. We provide all the samples if you wanted to do full monument displays. or wall samples in our programs. We provide those at no cost. You're what we consider a legacy customer. We've done business for you a long time, so we don't charge you for any of those displays. And we don't charge you for any of the training in our system. So our system now is able to, you can place an order for either our Bronzestone and Core Line program, which is in here, or what we call Legacy, which is sandblasted markers. You should be able to design all those with probably about 4 hours of training over a couple of months. And the program's designed to where you can just go in and play around and learn how to create a marker. But we supply full support. It would be my preference if whoever that person is that's going to do that would come to our facility in Hillsborough and spend, 3-4 hours with us, see how the memorials are made, talk to the people that they're going to talk to on the phone, John, Tamara, those people that are in our customer relations and customer service department. That would be our preference. So I'm not quite sure what your numbers are a year, what your interments are. Are they 125, 85, somewhere in there?
I want to say last year it was like around 80.
Okay.
I want 80 something. So it was for the 2 years, it was like it was like around 168 or something like that.
Yeah.
But between all the cemeteries for the last 2 years. So
Yeah. So our average memorial sale for an order is around, depending on whether it's an upright or flat markers, around 470, could be 500, depending on the year. It comes and goes. You'll have a stretch of people that want to just buy really nice monuments, and then everybody else just wants a niche with a engraving. So you can roughly do the math. If you're doing 80 to 85, and half of those are cremations, you can do the math on those as far as revenue and income.
And you do 2.5% of the $500.
Yeah,
Yeah, I would. Don't you think that's
yeah,
Probably
I would
mark it
start
on
with
here.
that, especially given they're at 3.2 or 3.5, you're very competitive. You also have your own paperwork. I mean, you gotta manage and pay the person. It was encouraging to hear you might be bringing someone in to help him out a little bit, and both could learn how to do it, obviously. And it can be done very easily online. You literally can design it, and it's very simple. We've created the program online so that it's very user friendly, and it just takes you right through the steps.
Well, a couple questions.
Right. Let me just cover a few things and then we can do questions. So we have tried to simplify part of the sales program to a good, better, best, almost pre-designed as far as generic shapes and sizes of the monuments. We have them in 2 styles. So this really makes a person's job, that especially if they're going to be new at this, a lot easier. And then over time, they'll be able to do a very complicated memorial like Mr. Rotz's memorial. That had probably $3,000 worth of custom art on it and a custom shape of monument. But our program allows for someone to come in and learn it, and then keep their own pictures of designs that they've created for customers. And so that over time, that just become a more efficient or more effective sales, and can do your upsales and generate more revenue. And I'm going to assume that we'll be doing more columbariums because Pilot Butte seems to be where the expansion's going, probably.
yeah, or Pal Butte, yeah.
Pal Butte, I mean, sorry.
And I don't think we've even sold one yet out there, but then we haven't really sold anything out there in the last.
And we would, and if you had a niche front sample in your office, you could say, this is what you get out there.
Yeah.
So it would
Oh yeah, which, and I mean, we can do that with the niches that are there
right.
too, but
But I also think if you have somebody in the office, I think that will enhance it.
Oh, yeah.
Because like
Yeah.
I say, Craig, you're busy enough.
and I'm starting to really, I mean, I was working last night on, cause I have a few drawings that I need to submit
Sure.
for you guys, or for the niches, actually, they're like now. And so that's where I was just doing my research on exactly how to do that myself, like last night, like literally. So it's kind of ironic that you guys are here today.
So we're here,
So
we
that's
can
perfect.
answer all those questions
So,
too.
but it's getting to like, I mean, I've been swamped and I haven't been able to even focus on that.
I know, we
before.
talked about that last year.
And so now it's coming full circle. Like I'm caught up on pretty much almost all my paperwork except for those loose ends, like
Sure.
the design or the, you know, the drawing rendering and to you guys, and then I can file that away and then I'm done with those accounts. So,
Sure.
but up until this weekend, I had multiple, like 30 accounts that I had to just finalize, you know, like, so take good notes and then go back to it. So, but I got it all done. So,
Excellent. Good to hear. So any preliminary questions that I can answer?
Sure. So you guys are looking for another source, so you'd like us to do it as a sales? So we don't do it now, but
We used to do it.
Yeah.
You
And
used
so
to
you're
do it. Yeah.
looking to have a startup again.
Yeah.
Would we be competing with the funeral home?
Yes, you would.
So everybody's on equal footing.
Mhm.
Do you?
We don't sell to the funeral home anymore, so
You don't?
no, they're purchasing from another company, so.
I got you.
you're-
That was my
Yeah.
next question is, are you guys fee revenue where you would split commissions between a funeral home and us? Because I can see the competition in a small town and would you be opposed to two people going to your office at the same time?
Love
rather
it.
than
You can
one?
s-
And I'm
you-
just thinking if he chose to go with
Yeah.
if we get a secretary, maybe they both want to learn it, but yet the secretary would be the.
You can rent a bus and all you can come over. We would be more than happy to show you what we do.
I'll just buy.
Sounds like you have enough on your plate,
Yeah.
so. Yeah, and like I say, especially if you've never been in this business before, Tim and I, it's just second nature. I mean, you were theoretically born on a cemetery, right? Yeah, I mean, in real life. These things are second nature to us. For those of you who are new, you know, we get people that come to us, they go, well, I still thought there was just like old men in leather smocks beating a rock out behind a barn. We have a pretty sophisticated manufacturing facility that's a balance between technology and art. I mean, we cross that technological boundary where we still have people that I want a headstone that looks like my great grandfather's. Can you make it? Well, we don't have those same tools as we used to, but we can emulate that and we can make it look like it's still 100 years old if that's what you want. And so our experience, because we have started in cemeteries, I went to work for them in the late 70s in their cemetery, just weed eating, and then okay, can you come down? We made monuments for a few cemeteries in the Hillsborough area, Washington County area, and then because of the kind of work we did, more cemeteries started asking us to do their work. We started doing work for the Catholic cemeteries in Portland, and then over time, our reputation and our experience for making things personalized and working with families got us to where we are today, because we started out as a cemetery, we built a funeral home, we did large commercial projects, and then how long ago did we rebrand just to OM Stone? 12 years ago?
Yeah, I think it was about 8 years ago.
We are really, really good at a lot of things, but we are excellent headstone makers. So we decided we're gonna not do the other things and just focus on the memorial business. And that's why we went from Oregon Memorials to OM Stone. People used to just call us OM anyway. Tony from OM's here, Tim's from OM's here. Let's just change our name to OM Stone because that's what we do. We work, Stone is our media. But the technology and design work has improved to the point now where the technology part of it is as important as the stone still comes out of the same quarries that we've been grabbing stone out of all over the world for the 75 years we've been in business. So, and you guys have been one of our longtime accounts. I think in our system, your guys' account number is 40 out of, now we have like 500 accounts. Is it 40?
I just saw it. Yeah,
It's 40. So it's been a long time, and I appreciate again that you let us come and tell our story because we really would like to have you back.
What was the reason that they quit?
Yeah.
What was the reason for quitting? No one knows.
Corey just stopped.
Yeah, Corey just
Okay.
stopped.
And then another thing is because we're such a small town, do you anticipate any trouble between the funeral homes here and us when we started back up?
No, we sell in some cities to a funeral home on one side of the street and a cemetery on the other side of the street. You go to 7-Eleven
Is
or
the
whatever.
matter the
You're
personal
buying
ones?
Coke from both places, right?
So how do we be competitive in this? I can see where, I mean, a lot of times the markers are bought when people go to the funeral home and it's a full deal. I mean, it's a sales pitch. How do we be proactive? I mean, because they have to come to you for the plot most of the time, but not always. So are you trying to pre-sell? Is that what most of the sales pitch is here? Or when somebody comes to buy a plot because they need to bury somebody? I'm just curious,
Tim can talk to you more about that
Yeah,
part of
I
it.
think the funeral home doesn't necessarily sell the memorial all the time at first.
Okay.
They're selling the service and everything. They come out, make sure they make the arrangements for you, the time of the service, the plot, etc. At that time, you present the information, and as long as they just didn't know, I think historically, and before he didn't present it, then the funeral home would do it. It's a secondary thing for the funeral home. It's not their main
okay.
business. Traditionally, funeral homes did not sell memorials. They're actually the newest in it. Was typically the cemeteries that are sold. So it's very normal in that regard. And I don't see that, since you historically have always, until recently, had both places sold. I think going back to that same model.
And you've
should not
had,
create-
you have people come in that have owned graves for 50 years, right? And they're not going to the funeral home.
Yeah, a
to
lot of,
buy a grave.
and a lot of them come, I mean, not a lot, but I get asked about it and I always give them your guys' phone number. And then a lot of them are just the installer part of it.
Mhm.
And so I give an installer's number out and it's just because I mean, I was told we didn't do anything with them when I was working there, like just regular employee.
This isn't adding up for me because when did the cemetery quit doing headstones?
When he
When-
quit selling them.
When Corey quit selling,
When did he quit?
before I joined the board.
Year and a half
Oh, you
ago.
know, they offered.
I think I mean, it was limited, I think.
The only reason is the people that came into me,
Yeah, they
It-
went through him, right?
yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Ah.
that's what I'm going on.
Yeah, and
The-
that's
the
where
reason that I was.
I'm finding that
The
he
reason
was
I was
selling.
involved in this is
Yeah.
because the people that came into me complained, and I'm not gonna go into it here
Mhm.
on a Zoom meeting, but they complained about, yes.
Well, he offered.
And it
them
did
2
not, it
years,
doesn't
3
make,
years ago.
it isn't
They
all,
were still being offered 3 years ago through the cemetery, or at least Corey did.
things aren't added quite up, but that's. okay.
Yeah, I have no idea when he stopped.
Something was going on that
Yeah.
wasn't quite sure, that's what I'm saying.
Well, that doesn't surprise me.
So, and how, so you guys are looking probably for a contract, or are you guys exclusive
No.
per cemetery?
No.
You just are putting your name out there,
We
you'd
do.
like people to, okey dokey.
Yeah,
And-
we're very reputation. They
Okay.
use us, we take care of them. We're
And-
full service, so
Well, thank you, so you
And-
do,
We do
you'll
anything and
place
everything.
them also.
we can install, we can do final inscription. We
Okay.
can do whatever you need us to do.
Okay.
We have the capacity, our trucks are set up to do anything when they come out.
And
Okay.
would you like put like a thing where they could see the rock or the
Mhm.
colors and that you would have like a little display
Display.
thing there?
And
so
what-
that-
Well,
Because it is, I mean.
I don't know where all that
understand you're not
material
gonna
went.
do Like a giant
Yeah,
headstone.
I don't think
But-
they.
You know, like
had it
a
up there.
section of what the colors, I mean, some
Yeah.
people have a very hard time deciding, but just, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we-
I'm not looking at like giant, but,
yes, we provide all of that
Yeah.
okay, thank you.
at no charge because you're considered a legacy customer.
Okay, and you have a standard percentage you kick back to the district, is that correct?
You
You just sell it and whatever your markup is, you keep.
Yeah, we don't
Yeah.
create
It's
checks.
up for us to determine the markup.
Okay,
Okay.
So if it's
You-
on
we
500
used to
from
be
us, you
reasonable.
sell it for
It was
15.
not reasonable.
The family writes
No,
you the
no,
check and then you
no,
get an invoice
case
at
by
the end of
case
the month for
with what I'm
500 from
finding.
us.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Thank you, Craig. Thank you for saying that, because yes, that's what,
That's, I
that
mean,
is why I'm saying this wasn't adding up. to
And
me.
you
no,
said
and
the
it
market is
don't,
more
because
like
it doesn't add up for me when I find stuff.
2.5
That I'm
times.
like, what?
So if
You
it's
know,
And
500,
I know what you're
you
talking
sell it
about.
for
Yeah.
12.50.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're on the same
I mean,
page.
Okay,
such
thank you.
clear.
No, it's fine. You gotta walk through it.
And from what I can tell from looking online, because funeral homes are required to publicize their costs for everything. Headstones aren't generally included in that, but I could tell by the way they've written some of their packages and talking to some of the other vendors that I know that supply vaults and things like that,
Yeah.
that they're 3.2
Market.
markup, 3 to 3.2.
It's a pretty good deal for the district. It
Yeah.
sounds
Oh, yeah.
like if we choose to do it.
Mhm. What does a funeral home generally mark up?
3.5.
Over 3 times.
Yeah, well, I mean, it depends on your market too, but I think that they're marking up what you would see in Portland or Salem. And I think enough, still, I would consider Prineville a small rural community and you're a district cemetery. You can charge a fair competitive price and still generate nice revenue to cover some of those things.
But not be
For you.
gouging.
Yeah,
That
and you
was
don't-
what I
Yeah,
was
because I
saying.
mean, me, I'm not in retail, so I bet 2.5% seems high to me, even, I mean.
Yeah.
And
That's a lot of money. but-
we could offer package, not to get into the sales real technical here, but we could do package things where if you buy a plot or a space in a columbarium, you know, for this much extra, you get this particular
But
marker.
can we lock that price then, so he doesn't die for 20 years, or she doesn't die for 20 years? We've locked a $500 marker from you folks.
Yeah, we have a storage program that's been around for 50 years.
Okay.
So if you send us the order, and this is on memorials, not for final inscriptions. Final
Right.
inscriptions, you would need to trust that or
Yeah.
whatever, however you would do that. But if it's a memorial, then we actually store the memorial.
Okay,
And then you pay for it at that time, you're done, you get a merchandise certificate for that.
okay,
When the family needs it, then you sign that up with the date and information, send it to us, we make it and send it.
okay, good enough.
And that's good for 50 years?
Well,
Oh,
you
how
know,
long is it good
we've
for?
been doing it since 85,
Oh,
so,
yeah, I thought you said 50 years. I was gonna say, if you die the 51st, then you're in trouble or what,
You're getting ahead of the game if you're gonna wait 50 years.
no.
the average is around.
I don't think I
7
have
years.
50 very left, but
I'm gonna be lucky if I make 10 more, so, hey.
But
I'm on borrowed time already.
okay. No, I'm just, this makes a little
Makes
bit
it
more
better.
sense as to what was going on.
So you said you were sort of born in a cemetery?
Yes, born on.
So you're never leaving home?
That's right, exactly. No, it's been fun. I've been at it for 50 years and, in full time, and it's, that's why I love what we do. I love the monument side the most, but we owning the cemetery, we understand the cemeteries. And like, if you ever have a trouble or a challenge or something, ask us, because we may not have an answer, but we may be able to help you or get you to someone who can resolve an issue that you run into, so.
and that's because we service a wide area and I may one day be in paired jeans and muddy boots talking to a cemetery in a very rural part of the Oregon coast. And then 2 weeks later, I'm in a suit and tie with the Archdiocese in Sacramento talking about a big project for them. So we have expertise that we can draw on to help you guys out, re-engage, which I hope you do with us.
When I like the
Um,
long-termness of your being around, that says a lot for.
Yeah.
Are you good with?
Oh, yeah, no, yeah.
Well,
I mean,
you know us.
Oh, yeah, I mean, they've been in contact with me since last July, I mean,
Okay.
and so it's just, I perceived it as, because I was told, I didn't know any better of how it was, and really what got it going was that we kept getting bills on markers. And like, it's a bill, so it's gotta go forward, and so we were paying on them, but yet, like, it was like 4 months, I didn't know I was supposed to bill the customer for those. I didn't even know, I'm like, wait, so we're paying, I'm like, I've paid this month for this one and this one and this one, where's that money at?
Where's the revenue?
And what made me happy was I had a sister of her brother had passed, And she's like, hey, I haven't got a bill for this marker. And I'm like, I paid that 4 months ago. And so I'm like, okay, I'll get you a bill right away on it. And I didn't, I mean, I had no clue. I
Mm.
billed for what the cost was. Because I was told if any time that we did do anything with the markers, it was all at cost, period. And I mean, that's just what I mean, no, they never really trained me, they just told me whatever at the time. And then it was, we don't do anything with markers and then at cost. And so I perceived it as completely away from what it actually was. So, but I'm coming full circle with it now and it's been coming, it's,
Yeah, we've had some customers that have, you sent us to take care of and have contacted us directly saying, I think you guys have an order in our system, and I look up the name and I go, yeah, but nothing's happened for months or whatever, yeah. That we have to
There was-
resolve. all
There was
those.
the people that came to me, there were some severe problems.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go into
Well,
it.
I'm sorry about that.
No, it wasn't any,
Yeah,
any,
not you guys, yeah.
nothing on you at all.
Previous problem.
Yes.
Severe problems.
And yeah,
The only reason why I'm
and
here.
I apologize that I haven't been more using you guys, but I just didn't, I've been deferring. I've been like, oh, the funeral home sell, these people, you can go on Amazon and buy headstones, like,
Oh, that seems weird.
it does seem weird. Yeah, you can. Yeah, family told me they ordered their whole, everything off, designed it and everything on Amazon, which
If
I
you're
was,
on Prime, do they pay the shipping?
I know, that was the very first thing that I asked. And I was like,
Terrible question.
oh, no. But
Sure,
I'm
what
glad you
your-
guys came today too, because I don't wanna walk away.
I should have asked that question. I'm sorry.
I'm apologetic that it's been the way it's been for the last, 9 months or whatever, like, because you guys have been
Yeah.
a longstanding, a partner in this. And I haven't done my part, so I apologize for that. But I didn't know.
No,
I
yeah,
think we got it figured
good,
out now.
yeah.
Very
yeah, we understand that and we're patient. Like I said, we've been around for a long time and I always have this joke in some of our corporate companies that we do business with is, okay, they got another manager. I'm sure I'm gonna last longer than this manager. Then somebody else comes along that's friendlier to us and
Yeah.
does business with us. So,
Hope he's around.
yeah, I mean,
I
it's,
think we're on the right track.
Yep. Is
Yeah.
there anything else we need to know from you folks in your presentation?
no, I think all that we will kind of wait for is who's gonna actually do the sale. Is this gonna be a person that you're gonna hire to do the sales,
Okay.
to learn how to get through our system? There's invoicing too, so whoever's gonna do the financial part of it, there's a part of it that'll give you the invoices, give you when your monthly bill will come, what will be on that, what's included, all those kind of things.
And I'd like to offer, because I know you're in the transition and looking for someone. If you want to just refer them to us, what we'll do is we can handle the sale remotely and we'll still just bill you the wholesale and the markup, then they will pay you so that we can get it started correctly, so that you're not, because I know that sometimes getting somebody on and getting them trained, we won't do it long term, but
Yeah.
we'd be glad to do
To
that.
get the
To
right-
get you going.
And thank you for offering.
Yeah, well, I just volunteered him, so.
Yeah, so I gotta write a report when I get back.
That's right,
So
so.
do you need something? So first off, do we need as a board determine that we want to make a motion to do this sales? And if so, do we want to determine what do we want to do for a markup? So Craig, when he talks to these folks, it's because it's all one package. You're not going to bill for your portion to the person that is wanting it. And then Craig.
We bill, yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
the bill comes to you,
Okay,
to the cemetery.
That would be a Steve question.
Steve's gone.
No, he's not. He's still
Okay.
there. He's just turned his camera off.
He's smiling.
See, there he is.
Yeah, okay, he's back.
So do
Which
we need to
question?
make a motion to do sales and stuff like this again and markup and all that?
Yeah, I think it would be a good idea to document this with a motion to resume providing this service to your district patrons.
Okay.
And
So
then I
should-
would leave it, my suggestion is you leave it as flexible as you can. I wouldn't put financial terms around it or anything like that at this point. I'd do a little bit of checking maybe with some other cemetery districts to see what their pricing structure is based on and how that works. And then maybe we can confer a little bit, just given that you're a special district, you have slightly different considerations you need to make when you're doing the pricing structure.
And we can give you some recommendations.
Yeah.
Too.
Sweet Home Cemetery District is one that's very similar to you guys.
Yeah, that'd be great if you guys have those.
Yeah,
comparable.
and Oregon, City of Oregon City, we do their city cemetery, so
Okay. Awesome.
they're about the same
And
stuff as you
I'd
guys.
like you to take consideration that this is a rural community and we have a lot of veterans here and things like that. So we're not looking to gouge them, but we're looking to be fair. And that would be very much important to me. And I think,
And my part would be as
Yeah.
cheap as we can for the
Yes.
people that need
Yes.
it.
And that's probably, there's probably something in your bylaws that says that because you're a
There's
district.
not. We
yes,
don't have
and
to
that
buy
would be
one.
very, very important.
In your next bylaws,
But you could start out with maybe a 2-time markup and just see how that goes and, and just,
Because there's no cost to us.
there's no cost, yeah.
No.
There's no cost to
Yeah,
you
just
guys.
do it the
You
time.
guys-
I mean, like,
You're set.
We're basically doing all the work,
yep.
Yeah.
bringing them out.
And
You're
again,
doing the sales portion of that.
like I say,
Yeah.
it's just to be, it's a reason, to be reasonable.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
would be more important to me. So, yeah.
And Tim, what I hear you saying is 2 times markup, not 2%. Is that correct?
Yeah, like if it's a $500 item, you'd sell it for 1,000.
Got it. Okay.
And that's a reasonable request. Because right now out there, it's a tough world right now
Yeah.
in Prineville. and
Right now,
Brookville.
that would sell for 1750 at the donor choice.
Yeah.
So that's a big difference to a family, especially
Oh, it totally
as
is. And
they've
that's, and
already
like I
had
said,
to deal with.
I know right now with property taxes and stuff, it's a strain.
Yeah.
So I don't feel that we need to gouge at that time of their life.
Well, if you have to hire somebody to sell them, that is a cost, isn't
Well,
it?
doing it
we're
with
already
taxes,
gonna
you know.
do that. We're already having it for.
So when Steve sells the plot, he's gonna do a sales pitch on the monument.
Right, but if you had to hire somebody,
Well,
Yeah.
we're gonna have an office person there anyway.
okay,
So
that was already
It'll
pre-planned.
be a
It'll help
little bit
off-
of a cost, but it won't be
Yeah.
that.
the sales will
It'll-
help offset the cost a little bit.
and as always, throughout the year, you have one of those weeks where you have 6
Mhm.
burials and you can't handle, you just call us and say, can you take care of this for us?
And I think you
We will-
start
we
like
will do
that. I
that.
think that's a fair way to start because right now, really, Crook County's in a little bit, there's a lot of people here that are in a little bit of a crunch right now.
Yeah.
And then if that works out really good, we can always increase. I hate to go in with a high rate.
Exactly.
Well, we might.
And
set
you know what I'm trying to say? Let's start out
Okay.
at a reasonable rate at 500, it's 1,000, that's reasonable to me. And then if we want to go up a 1/4% in a couple of years, that's more, to me, that's better than
Right.
And,
high and go down.
And so
That's just
you-
my way of
Oh,
trying to be fair.
and so you guys
And-
do know,
and
uh,
We know where we were before.
I've done a little bit of asking around with the other cemeteries in the area, and we are by far like, I mean, they're 3-4 times the
Yes.
amount everywhere else. And that's on the plots, that's on the open and close, like over in Bend, open and close, we charge 500 and they're charging like 2,400.
Yeah.
For open
Yeah.
and close, and then their plots are
And the
3
ball.
times the amount.
all the
And that
product
could
is
be
higher.
something that
And-
it's
and so it's-
to address.
So we're working
Yeah,
with that.
I
and
just-
It's real good, but.
With bringing these guys back, I just thought convenience sake,
Yes.
because losing a loved one is hard enough. And having to go to this place and arrange this and this place to
Yeah.
arrange that.
Yes.
And then you have people who don't call you back and, we do have people that come to Craig and say, can we buy a monument from you? So I thought, in terms of service, because technically we are a service oriented
Yes.
industry. This would be something that I thought would be a good way to go.
And then, and like I say, next year, maybe we do need to put that on our agenda that we evaluate our rates and we increase. Maybe we come up with a percentage that we
Yeah.
yearly increase by a percentage or something, but let's not start out. I'm
Oh,
just
yeah.
going
Yeah.
from what I heard that got me here,
Mhm. Yeah, oh, yeah.
really upset me,
Right?
and
Mhm.
let's be reasonable.
So I'd make a motion that we work with OM Stone, that Craig, district manager, makes a contact and
Mhm.
whatever needs to be done, and we move forward from there.
And I second your motion, Mr. Bedorza.
All those in favor?
Hermrick, aye.
Bedorf, aye.
Would I? Motion passes.
Thank you very
guys.
much for
No,
your
thank you, everybody.
presentation.
Very welcome.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
you determine what you wanna have at the office and all that.
Yeah, which, and I've been building a nice little brick path out front,
Okay.
you know, making a nice little, I got a spot that we could maybe do some display, like.
So
right
after
outside of-
Memorial Day, after the post Memorial Day
Yeah,
rush,
yeah.
I'll come back out and we can walk.
Cool.
Goodness,
Yeah.
I hope there's not a Memorial Day rush.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, people will
for the
be
last
decorating
month,
yeah.
for all week.
We refer to this as is in our death care industry. This is our Super Bowl weekend.
Yeah, this is.
So, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, it's coming off Mother's Day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Mother's
mean,
Day
it
kinda
was,
kicks
it was
off.
hectic.
I'm
And
flying
now it's,
home on Friday and now you're making me have not very much faith in that.
Well, think of this, for those of you who aren't in this business. So, in the Northwest, it's really weather related. Sales of headstones is weather related, right? You go out to the funeral, you go out to the cemetery and you go, "Oh, we gotta get grandpa a headstone. We keep putting that off."
Would be true.
Memorial Day weekend.
And then,
You get there, so
And
then
then
you
again
get
on
orders. okay.
and then on Memorial Day weekend, when people come to the
But-
cemetery for their one time of the year and they go, "We gotta get grandpa's headstone this year." So you'll have a little bump
Mhm.
in the end of June. So.
and just the traffic has been absurd up there in the last 3 weeks, like, and it's even getting worse. I mean, not worse, but there's a lot more coming in this week too.
Sure, sure.
So do you guys, and I know you guys probably need to go, but I'll ask real quick, we have some that are deteriorating
Sure.
and they're pretty basic, pretty old. Do you have a standard form that you do that the cemetery could buy 10 of them if we had families who were agreeable to let us replace the ones that are bad? I mean,
Yeah, we have a program for that.
you do,
Yeah.
okay.
And a unmarked grave program. We got some small markers and stuff. Some cemeteries have an indigent area. And very, $110. I mean,
Oh,
we
okay.
make
Oh,
it
wow.
really
That
affordable.
would be
It's just a name of the day, but it's something we believe in and
You do.
it's important.
And
So
you may never have any family come to that grave anymore,
but
but
it's still-
you want that.
But
They're
it's still
not, they're
marked.
not forgotten.
Yeah,
That's
and
exactly
they're not
We
crumbling
went-
and then
yeah,
you
we
run
went to
them
the
with the
mental
mower and
hospital.
cause
Have
problems.
you ever seen that,
Yeah.
that ornamental where the
Yep.
forgotten people
Mhm.
really hit you when you see
It
it?
does.
We have a lot of sandstone ones that are starting to deteriorate.
Yeah.
And family wouldn't.
There's a cemetery out by the Painted Hills where my family hails from, and it's really depressing. They went through and they took out all the really old headstones. There was a gentleman in there that was in the War of 1812, just all kinds of stuff. And they replaced them with wood. And I'm just like, yeah, I don't know what they did with the really old ones because they were neat.
It's too bad they didn't put them somewhere where they were protected, where you could have at least viewed.
Viewed them, yeah, because there was a little baby in there that died of cholera. And it was a really neat stone, but it's not there anymore.
All right, again, I really thank you for letting us
Thank
take
you
up some of your
very
time.
Well, we thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
My information is inside these packets. Please
Okay.
take these home over your glass of Chardonnay tonight and just look through it. And if you have any questions, just, we can drink a nice Beaujolais if you want.
Okay.
All right.
Oh,
No, yeah,
okay,
thank you,
very
thank you.
much.
Thank you guys very much.
Nice to
You will
meet
be
you.
hearing
very
from
much.
me very soon anyway.
Nice to
I-
meet
Like
you.
I said, I
you.
got some etching to do on some
Thank
of the columbariums.
Thank you
you,
so
Tony.
much, Jamie. I really appreciate
No
it.
problem. Okay, so the next thing, obviously, on our agenda is public comments.
Good to see you, man.
Yeah.
But
to
we
you.
don't really have any except for
Yeah,
one person
public
from the
comment.
public. Do we have any public comments this time?
Not that I've heard.
Okay,
Oh, you're supposed to say, not that I want to comment.
no comment. Okay, any board member comments? Nope. All right, then I will adjourn the meeting.
I'm
Meeting
gonna
adjourned.
run really quick over here.
No problem. We're gonna switch over to the budget meeting link, Steve.
Okay, I will meet you there.
All righty.